in here is a fan of Dominion. You're all fans of Dominion, right? But just going down the line, could you guys kind of tell us a little bit about your character and where you think they're going to be heading in the final couple episodes of Dominion?
I'm Alex Lennon, and I'm trying to figure out the tattoos. That's the journey that he's taking in this series, and of course, Michael, who is my teacher, and I'm his student. And of course, we sort of go back and forth in the series. Yes, I know that, Tom. But he's my teacher, and Alex has a lot to learn, so that's the journey that we take.
He's a tricky student. Just won't quite listen to my advice.
I'm trying. I'm just trying to figure out the tattoos, Tom.
Well, how's the teaching going to go in the final couple episodes? What are we going to see Michael doing?
Well, quite a lot's revealed about Michael's past, which begins in the next episode, which will be quite surprising, I think. And he has a lot more interaction with Gabriel, and Gabriel's trying to get under Michael's skin, and it ends up with a pretty explosive climax. It's quite apt for Michael. So.
And we have a Gabriel fan out there. Someone's a big fan of Gabriel? Yes.
Me too.
Team Gabriel? We need t-shirts made up for that.
All right.
Yeah.
Roxanne, where do you think your character is going to be?
So I play Claire Bryson. I think she's developed a lot since the beginning of the series. Her innocence is totally gone. And she's becoming a real political animal.
Okay. Alan, you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I'm General Bryson. And I'm the founder of this thing. And everyone thinks I'm a good guy. And we're going to see whether that's true or not. And for me, for what's coming up, basically, my daughter is suggesting that I should piss off. Excuse me. I did read that. I did read that. I can't read. And I hope you're having no trouble understanding because I'm not speaking with an American accent. I thought I'd know it's the elephant in the room. I thought I'd just mention it. So as for where I go next, depends really on Roxanne and me. And then, but it's going to be good fun, and we're having the best time. You may have noticed we're having an awful lot of fun, so that's the main thing.
Tony, how about you? Could you tell us a little bit about your character?
I play David Wheel, who's he's a politician, and like most politicians, he probably started off with all good. Well, no, he probably didn't start off with good intentions at all. But as far as he's concerned, he's doing everything for the sake of Vega, everything, I don't know who saw the last night's episode.
Was the clapping a yes?
We haven't worked out that system.
We're really embarrassed we haven't seen it, so we don't want to raise our hands.
Last night's episode was, I have to say, was remarkable performances from Roxanne McKee and from Amy Bailey. Stunning stuff going on. But anyway, I mention it because things start to go slightly wrong for David Wheel. And then from here on in, his world gets turned upside down, and it's a good ride. That's my story anyway.
Well, Vaughn, let me ask you. Your character on the show is
What's happening?
I do.
Yes.
He does know what's. Oh,
He
yeah.
knows everything.
Your character is executive producer and showrunner. That's a pretty big character. How is it
Creator.
maintaining the circus here, controlling all
Well,
these
can't you
guys?
tell? The circus has come to town.
Yeah. The circus.
It's wonderful. I mean,
Yeah.
it's been, working with these guys. Not only are they extremely talented actors, but all really fun, nice people, as you can tell.
Mm-hmm. Well, since Alan brought up the elephant in the room, the accent thing, I'm going to have to ask that question. Who had the easiest time transitioning into the American accent, and who had the most difficult time. So whoever wants to jump in on that.
Yeah. I think we all did it pretty well, to be perfectly honest. It wasn't a great deal of trouble, and we can pretend to be Americans pretty easily. So that's what we did, and we have we laugh at each other.
I would just explain, as I was explaining up in the press room, the show is set in Las Vegas. It's called Vega, I know. But
You just figured this out.
I did. It's taken a while, a few episodes, but I'm there now. But there is an international cast. It's American, Australian, South African, and English. And ultimately, we all are doing an American accent because it's set in a very large American city. And it works, the script works that way. So the questions that have been asked, why would you use English actors and not ask them to speak in American? It's like, talking about why would you watch a Western where they're all talking English? It doesn't make sense. But I think in terms of everybody, whether we struggle or not, I mean, we're all pretty adept at accents.
Because we're actors.
Go figure.
It's kind of like asking somebody, why are you playing a character with brown hair, or why are you, it's like you're an actor.
You were playing.
Still brunette. No one can tell.
And Vaughn, how's your British accent?
Not good. Even though my mom is British and my dad, I've never been able to do an English accent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's terrible.
Thank God you can write.
True.
Well, everyone on this cast has some really strong genre credibility, from Lost, Buffy, Kings, just across the board. Game of Thrones. Yeah, please. So what is it about specifically Dominion, this world, that made you kind of want to enter it?
I think we've all said it before, money.
Because it was offered to us.
Okay, it has to be more than that, because you're filming in South Africa, so you're away from your families, away from your homes for a long time. So
In South Africa.
in South
I
Africa.
think there was something really special about Cape Town, and taking this outside of the States and so far from our homes. I think it sort of gives it a look and a feel that's different to, say, I'm used to shooting a lot of pilots in Canada and a lot of TV shoots there, but I think there's a look and feel to it that gives it something special. What are you guys saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And I mean, in terms of scripts, I've read a few scripts in my time, but this was a really interesting premise. And it's like, you start from a starting point, which could have gone, I was saying that I kind of figured it was going to go down it's Romeo and Juliet, and it's kind of Dallas in the future, and I'm JR, and okay, I know what's going on. And it, from second episode in, it all completely changed and turned on its head. So from my point of view, it looked like it could have gone two ways. It could have been predictable, or it couldn't. And I'm very glad to say it's not been predictable since the first moment. It's cool stuff.
We've got really a real variety of characters, and the characters have real depth as well, which is interesting for us as actors to play, to go through different experiences.
And the wine is
challenges.
really good. No, really. And not expensive.
That's the reason right there.
And they eat their protected animals. It's fantastic.
Just gonna let that sit there for a second.
Well, Australia eat their coat of arms, and so it was good to be in South Africa where they eat their coat of arms too.
Moving on. Vaughn, what was the inspiration for you to kind of want to take on this universe connected to Legion? I mean, what was it about Legion that you liked so much that you kind of wanted to expand it?
When I watched the movie, when I was brainstorming whether, what the world would be, it was very much the relationship between the two archangels and the baby. That's a central part of that movie, but it really, for me, that that I saw so much potential for being a TV show. Just thinking about what that baby would be when he's grown up, what the archangels would be doing, what would be going on in the world, what would be kind of the dynamics, and it just started there. That relationship, that kind of brotherly fight between the archangels, and also this kind of surrogate father relationship that they both wanted with this baby.
Mm-hmm.
Those cheers for us.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
Of course. The Chris. All right. So Chosen One in Kings, Chosen One in Dominion. What's up, dude? Like, are you using this whole Chosen One bit to get like free coffee at Starbucks? Be like, hey, Chosen One here.
I don't know what it is that I don't know as an actor subconsciously why you read things and it just stands out to you. And I think for this and Kings, there's something about that journey, that hero's journey, that just, I don't know why, it's something I need to learn from it, or something that I'm just subconsciously I don't understand, but it's I love it. I love that hero's journey. And I think this is different to Kings in the sense that he's a lot older. Two different stories, but yes, that theme line of hero's journey. Mm-hmm. I think that's I like that, and I enjoy watching that, and I'm a huge science fiction fan. So
yeah.
So you're going to be the chosen one forever, dude, until there's another choice.
Yeah. I'm just yeah.
For the rest of the cast, does he really enjoy the Chosen One status?
Him and craft services. Oh.
Yeah. Chosen One needs a break. He refers to himself in third person. Chosen One.
I'm the chosen one, get me out of here.
Yeah.
That's great.
He just writes things on his arm and says, "Look what the tattoos say."
Tom, with the angels in this series, I mean, every time a bell rings, it seems like an angel's about to kill someone with its wings. Taking on the role of an angel. Do you feel particularly angelic in your normal life? Did you feel destined to take on the angel persona?
No, I definitely haven't been an angel.
So
No, it's true, Chris. I'm sorry. Sorry to tell you like that. No, I loved the part of Michael as soon as I read the pilot script, and there's something about him which I find really fascinating. His stoicism, the fact that he doesn't emote very much, yet is fascinated by these humans and sees their inherent goodness and just wants to help them. And there's something quite fascinating about him being so attracted to human women.
Yes.
And how he's very desperate to feel their emotions and the way they sense things. Orgies.
Yeah, the angel life is pretty good, apparently.
It's been a tough job, what can I say?
When you took on the job, or when you were auditioning for it, did you ask, so how's he going to look? Is he going to be, cool, dressed all in black? Or, obviously in the movie, he looks very cool as well. But were you ever concerned that it would be a lot of white robes or anything like that?
Well, I'd seen Legion, so I knew their wings were black.
Yeah.
And I knew there was going to be a little bit more to Michael than first appeared.
Yeah.
Which there definitely is.
You ever want to take on the robe thing? That'll be like season 2. Michael suddenly starts rocking a white robe.
We can't bring our towels to set, we won't put them on.
I like my black coat.
The black is cool, the man in black. Roxanne, last night was a really big episode for you, wasn't it? Talk a little bit about the process, about getting through that, and just the journey that you had in last night's episode. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, it was a really emotional experience for Claire, which in turn is an emotional experience for me, because you're going through those feelings when you're having to cry, scream, and kill someone. So I thought about the time when I have been in situations that have been sad, not killing anyone. I haven't done that yet. Thought about it, but it's difficult. At the end of the day, you feel exhausted and you have a headache and you feel quite drained, and you feel sad because you go through it all and you think about things that perhaps you wouldn't ordinarily think about. You bring up things in your past, whatever. That's what I do. And then that day we all got fits of giggles because we filmed the scene where we had the book. What is that book?
The Apocrypha.
The Bible.
That book.
Bible.
No, this was the Apocrypha.
And the door opening.
Apocrypha.
The Apocrypha. So we filmed that scene where we all look toward Amy and we know that, you know, we're going to have to go in there and try and exorcise this 8-ball, and none of us could speak. I couldn't look at Tom at all because he's really, really, really difficult to work with, in that he does this little coy smile and it sends me into fits of giggles. I don't know what that means.
I think you just have very poor concentration.
Said like Michael.
Take 12.
That's what it was like. So if you saw any, tears or anything in that scene, it was because I was trying to stifle laughter.
Well, now you're also, I mean, you pushed out, your character pushed out her father as head of the city, right? Like,
Yeah.
you feeling
I'm
pretty
feeling
powerful? Pretty good about that?
tough, but yeah, it's not over yet.
Yes.
You know, it's a real coming of age story for Claire. She's going through a lot of changes. She's learning a lot. She's dealing with a lot of difficult situations. So you're finding out how resilient she is as a human being, and also you will get to see her flaws as well, which I think is another interesting aspect of Dominion. You're able to see the flaws in the fantasy characters, such as Gabriel and this one, and also the humans as well. Sometimes Tom. And also the humans
Because Tom gives
as well.
us such a hard time on set, so you've got to give it back to him.
Yeah.
Do you want to defend yourself on
It's hard
that?
to keep a straight face here with him, you know?
I think everyone knows that's not true, right?
Not at all, not at all. Alan, I'm counting 3 characters, including the general now, that has heart problems.
And there's a thing, I did mention this to Vaughan a few weeks ago, that if I have one more heart attack, I must go into the Guinness Book of Records as the actor who's had the most heart attacks on television. I've had 3 series that I've left with a heart attack. And so it's okay, because Vaughan reassured me, he said, no, when we kill you, we're going to do it violently, don't worry. I did say to him, had you thought that perhaps you maybe didn't kill me?
Yeah, no more heart attacks for you.
Yeah, fair enough. No heart attacks, thank you.
No more heart attacks.
Yeah. Anthony, your son on the show is
William.
Yeah, he's kind of
He's a pain.
evil. Yeah,
A pain.
not a nice guy.
Better than him.
Well, I was gonna get to that. Like, yeah, like who really, like when it comes down to it, who is? I know as an actor, it's probably hard to view your character as evil, but who's probably more eviler? You're weighing in. You're saying him.
No one is completely evil. Everyone's got, it's just, I just happen to have done some fairly unpleasant things. And, I think he's probably just, he's learning from his dad.
Mm-hmm.
You killed a small child.
And I had to be done. I'm sorry. It was for the good of Vega. I keep telling myself that, but there you go. But I don't know that William is evil. He's just misguided, and he's kind of obsessive about it, and he's
Like Hitler.
Very nice.
as I say, my particular world gets changed in last night's episode, and then goes further. I learn all about William's likes and dislikes. So we'll see who's more evil, I guess, as the show goes on to its conclusion this season.
Do you think that the character really has the sincere preservation of the human race in mind? Like, is he?
I'm hugely sincere. What are you talking about? The bottom line is, I think, no one is.
It's been a long day.
No one is, as I say, is just purely one thing or the other. And what I like to do with a character is to their choices may not be good, but they do in the back of their heads, and in the back of their minds, they think they're doing it for the right reasons. I mean, you mentioned Hitler. I guess he must. I don't know. Maybe he was just completely barking. But ultimately, through history, people have done things that they have been judged for, quite rightly, that have been wrong. Whether in their heads they thought they were doing wrong, or whether they actually thought they were doing a great thing, and that people would be very, very pleased for them in time. Mm-hmm. But I think, I don't think anybody is two-dimensional. It's not black or white. It's ultimately, well, I'm making this choice. It may be the wrong one, but I'm going to follow it through. And that's what David Will does. Mm-hmm. It just happens to be bad.
But a good bad, perhaps.
But good bad.
A good bad.
Yeah.
Vaughn, the world outside of Vega is already, it seems so rich based on what we're hearing so far. Are we going to explore more of that world at all?
Yeah, for the first season, it was important to keep it in Vega and really be able to build that world out so you didn't overwhelm the audience right up front. But in more seasons, definitely. We'll get into Helena and New Delphi, and we'll get to learn more about the angels and their families, the trees, and other kinds of angels. Definitely we'll build out the world outside of Vega.
Sure. But kind of following up on that, this is a show rich with mythology. How do you balance episode to episode, giving a payoff to the audience, but also kind of hinting at additional mythology? Is that a difficult balance, and how do you manage that?
It's a lot of planning, tons of planning. I mean, you really, you have to decide what you're going to hit on and what beats and the arcs for the characters and what reveals and secrets and everything you're going to do, and you just piece it out over the seasons. Mm-hmm. It really is a puzzle that you put together at the beginning of the season, and then as you go, you build it out.
Yeah. Chris, your character is reluctant to assume that chosen one role. Is that part of the draw of the character itself? It doesn't just assume this sort of desire to kick butt and be the hero and everything. Was that a draw for you?
Yeah, I didn't want to make him. I liked taking it on a journey. I like that it takes him time to really come to the acceptance of this responsibility, because in the world that Vaughn's created, I wanted it to just be as real as possible. I wanted him to be the most from the pilot, he just wants out. He's over the system. He doesn't like the world of Vega. And so I just wanted it to be this sort of natural progression, and I did like that. First reading the script, I did like that he's not your just typical suddenly gets the tats and he's healing people and doing all this magical stuff. That it takes some time, like it would for someone in real life to suddenly be given this. If that was to happen to someone in real life, I wanted it to be a real journey you could watch and follow and sort of make it believable. So yeah, it was a nice journey. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just from a practical standpoint, the application of the tattoos and everything, how long does that take? What is the process with that?
Yeah, that's a good 3 hours in the makeup chair. But it's fun. It's interesting, and the tattoos themselves, the SFX guy, the visual effects guy, the design of the tattoos was incredible, and it's taken from different scriptures of the Bible, and so all these different scriptures, but also he's researched and gone into pages of information to actually come to the conclusion that it could possibly be angelic language, which is just interesting trivia. So whether or not that's true, it's a nice little piece of information.
There you go, Comic-Con.
So
there's like a pretty cool reveal for you. So if you just study the show close enough, we'll figure out the whole mystery of the angels and everything. That's the plan, yeah. now, Tom, your character is hard to get a read on at times, it seems like. I mean, why does he really stick around Vega? Does he really see himself as a father figure to Chris's character? Does he really love Becca?
The orgies.
The orgies.
No, he absolutely
Loves the orgies.
Move on.
Tom, take your shirt off.
I still love that in the pilot, you know, you've got this massive orgy and then you just say, this has to stop.
It's not my fault. He really wants to protect Alex. He wants to guide him. And he wants to save humanity. He really does see the goodness in humanity. And he thinks if he, you know, his viewpoint is completely the polar opposite to Gabriel's. Gabriel wants to kill everybody, and Michael wants to stop him because he believes that way his father will come back. His father will recognize that, you know, essentially humanity is good, whereas Gabriel thinks it's very bad and destructive. Mm-hmm. And Michael realizes the only way to do that is through Chris Egan. So that's absolutely his goal. He just happens to have a past that isn't quite so simple.
Testosterone level.
Do you ever see that character, or at least maybe thinking about the backstory at all, like him getting persuaded by Gabriel a little bit? Like could he change his mind? Might he ever, in the back of his head, have this nagging feeling of like, you know what, these humans, this Senate, screw it, like I'm taking off, I'm flying away, and having orgies somewhere else. Like, I mean, like...
Helena is definitely on his list. Well, nothing is black and white, is it, I guess? I mean, if you have characters like David Wheel, it's, you know, maybe you would kind of think, stop them. I think it's difficult not to give any spoilers away, but there is things in Michael's past which shed a slightly different light on him. And so perhaps there would be that potential, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So maybe something to look for. Yeah. Roxanne, your character, and actually all the women on this character, really fully realized, very strong characters. What is the grin for? Is there a story behind that grin?
No,
right there?
no. Carry on.
Is that something that pulled you into this show? Like, was that part of the appeal that you saw immediately that this character?
The character was strong. Well,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can, when you have a certain amount of material, because obviously when you first get the scripts, you get a small amount of material. You don't get all of the episodes, so you can choose to play it any which way you want. But what Vaughan and Scott wanted was a strong princess. You know, I think the analogy you were saying Princess Leia type rather than, I think I said Princess Sparkle to somebody, which is not what they wanted. And so for me it's really exciting to be able to play a strong female, but also to show the vulnerability within the character as well. And Vaughan and I talked about it, and I was saying that I think it's important to show her vulnerability because I think that is a feminine quality, and I don't think that means weakness. In fact, I think being able to show that is strength. And so I liked the progression of Claire's character.